Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about all of my blushes. It's going to be like a blush collection and declutter. I did a similar video at the end of last year. I actually filmed it last summer, but like it wasn't time sensitive, so it kind of just kept getting bumped back, and I think I posted it in like December. But that was really just like a blush collection, and I feel like my blush collection has kind of changed since then. My feelings on blush have changed since then. I was kind of like crapping a little all over cream blushes at the time, and I no longer feel like crapping on cream blushes. So we're going to talk about all of the things that are still in my collection, all the things that are going to be leaving my collection, and hopefully at the end of this video, I'll have a really manageable assortment of blushes that I'm excited about. Maybe you can get some recommendations if you're a similar skin tone to me, or at least formula recommendations, something like that. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So I don't have much of a particular order to go in. I want to try to mix up a little bit from the ones I'm keeping to the ones that I'm probably leaning towards decluttering. I'm going to start with this PYT blush. I think you say it. I imagine you don't say pit. This is in the shade Exhale, and I did use this in the Skipping the Terra Moons launch video, but it's just a really pale, dusty pink. And I was interested in this after seeing someone use one of the Clinique shadows that goes really light. I do feel like it is quite light, and especially on camera, it doesn't always like translate the way that you want blush to, but it looks pretty in person, and I do like it for like building up blush looks. So I do have it on today, and I'm able to really wear quite a bit of it because of how light it is. And then I used the next blush we'll talk about after that, and it really just blends into my skin a lot better than using like a slightly deeper blush on its own does. So far I am enjoying it. The packaging feels a little bit cheap. Like it feels a little bit like wiggly, but I still like it. And you know what? I just swatched this here, but I think I'm going to, like last time, just swatch down my arm. So I'll give you a better swatch. Even though I'm probably going to forget that it's there because it's so light. But yeah, the other blush that I have on my face is this one from KVD. It's the Everlasting Blush in Foxglove, and I had swatched this in Ulta. I mean, I guess it was last fall at this point, but I just really liked the tone of it, and then I ended up ordering it when I had a coupon, and I really like the formula of it. It's like a pretty, like I almost want to say berry, but berry's like an intense color word when you're talking about my type of skin tone. But it's like a light enough mauvey berry that it still can look very natural on me, but you can see it is a big jump, and that's why I'm happy to have something like this to lay down as a base to go up to that, you know? I think also just the formula of it makes it kind of sheer, and it goes on in a very easy way and kind of blends itself. Yes, baby. I have this blush from Patrick Ta. It's the Double Take Cream and Powder Blush in the shade She's That Girl. And like whenever I look at it, I'm not that excited about it, but I do like it whenever I wear it. Yes, baby. I pretty much only have worn the powder side. I feel like it's the same thing that I said when I last filmed this video, and it has not changed. And the only dip that I have in the cream side is, I think, from when I filmed this video. So we're just gonna dip there again. I really need to remember to use this. And even looking at it now, I think my mind just tells me that it's way pinker and harder to wear than it is. There is definitely a difference in tone between these two shades though, and I do like that to make it feel like you're getting two experiences out of this and not the same exact color in two formulas. I need to remember to use this one more. But maybe once I have slightly less blush, I actually will. I'm kind of going for the powders first, but I'm realizing now I don't have that many powders anymore, so that's kind of cool. I'm going to talk about these Cover FX monochromatic blush duos. These were like the coolest thing in the market a couple years ago, and this was the first one that I had. This is the shade Soft Peach. I've always thought of myself someone that likes peach blush, but recently I'm a little bit pickier with it because I think on like my skin it can look quite unnatural. Like that's so much more peachy than like any of the other ones, you know? Like, of course it is because it's called Soft Peach, but it's not like slightly peachy. It's like super peachy. Yeah, very peachy. It also has a shimmery side. I've never used the shimmery side. I've never used it. I guess I'll add that into the swatch a little bit because I guess I have it. And I guess I could use it. Yeah, looks very similar to the matte side. The second one of that I bought was the shade Warm Honey. This one looks like this. I think I just wanted more. It's like the thing where like you have something and you enjoy it, so instead of just continuing to enjoy it to its fullest potential, you buy another one and then you just water down your like of either of them, you know? That's what I did with this. It really is like it's a pretty small shade range, so there's not that many options within one person's skin tone. I think like the ones that someone would say suit me, like, you know, we could all do whatever we want with makeup, but the ones that I think were made for a skin tone like mine are that soft peach, and I think there was like a pinky one also that just looked way too pink. So I was kind of looking into deeper skin tones and it just doesn't work for me. I mean, and that's funny too because it is lighter than like this KVD one here, but I wore it the other day and maybe it was something about the blendability or something, but I didn't like how it looked on me. I'm gonna show you the shimmer also. There's a little shimmer extension. So I think I'm going to declutter this one. It just doesn't blend that nicely on my skin. It's too harsh, and having this one makes me never use either of them. So I think I'm going to use Soft Peach a lot more now that it's my only CoverGirl. Not CoverGirl. Now that's my only Cover FX blush. Okay, I guess we'll keep it going with the things I have two of thing. Next, I'm going to talk about these e.l.f. blush duos. I don't know the name of them, but they're the blush duos. I've had 4 of these in total. 2 of them I used completely and I used up, and those are the 2 that I really love, and these are the 2 that I don't really love, and that's why they're still here. And it kind of feels like a shame. Like, I'd rather just get rid of these and then repurchase one of my favorites, which is Spiced Apple. I think I did swatch that in the last video. I think I had like my last little remnants of it remaining, but I think that's the plan right now. So I really like the formula of these. The 4 that I've tried have all been fantastic, but it just, these colors I'm just not that into. So this one is White Peach, and you can see it's like a neon peach. It's so much brighter than Soft Peaches, and when I want to go for something peachy, which used to be like my only blush thing that I wanted to do, and now I feel like I'm into more like faded pinks when it comes to blush. But when I want to go peachy, I really just need this one. The other one that I have is Cantaloupe, which is a very odd color. Like, it's very light yellowish orange, and I did use it from time to time, but I just think it's like too much of an odd statement on my face that I don't really like, and it makes me a little bit sad. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm probably going to use it another time before I declutter it, but I'm leaning towards decluttering it, okay? This was one of the original ones that I had when I first made a purchase, including these blushes. It was Spiced Apple and Cantaloupe, and then I ended up buying Lychee and White Peach. But what if I just went back to Cantaloupe and Spiced Apple? I'm gonna keep this one for now, but I'm definitely decluttering White Peach. What a roller coaster. The next thing that I have 2 of are these Fenty Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Blushes. I bought both of these when they first came out with this line. I think it was the first cream blushes that I tried. I don't know. I was kind of on the fence with them for a while. I think I'm finally starting to kind of like get it with cream blushes. I think these do have a really nice formula. This one is Rosé Latte, which is pretty deep, but I find this formula kind of like serum-y, and because of that, it does blend out very easily on my skin using my fingers. Yeah, it kind of looks like the cream version of the KVD one, so I do like that. My hair doesn't stick to it. That's always like a big concern with like any kind of cream or liquid blushes. I don't want it to like make my face like a liability, and that doesn't. The other one that I picked up was Fuego Flush, which I was like, ooh, a weird color. That's perfect for me. but I think this is my one that drags down my Fenty collection because it's a weird color and like I've used it before, but like I don't love it. And I look at my two Fenty blushes and the sum of them the sum of them divided by 2 is less than the sum of this when it comes to my happiness. Do you know what I mean? Like this just like dilutes my feelings about the 2 of them because it is kind of like weird and harder to wear. And for that reason, I'm going to declutter it. I think it's still nice, and if you're someone who wears funkier blushes more often, then it might be the exact kind of color you're looking for. I've also used it as like an under eye. Like, you know what I mean? Like they had like the Becca one that everyone used where you like put something peachy under your eye to cancel out the like blueness in there. This works for that, but also Shape Tape works for that. So that's what I'm doing now. But yeah, I'm gonna declutter this one. I have these 2 Colourpop blushes that are magnetic, and they have just been floating around various magnetic palettes for the years that I've had them, and I never use them. And I think that's the thing that like, baby. Blush can be so good, but like if it's not, I don't know how to like turn this sentence into like a lesson, even though like it is. That like a product can be really good, but if it's not formatted in the way that makes you use it, you're not gonna use it, you know? And that's what I found about these. I like these. I think these are good blushes, but I never think about them. I never think to open an eyeshadow palette to reach into my blush. I'm just always going to use one of the blushes that's in its own compact and right in front of me. So for that reason, I'm going to finally say bye to these. This one is Excuse My French. It's like a peachy one. A lot of peachy blushes are departing today. That's not a good swatch, but it is like buildable and stuff like that. So like I don't expect blushes to swatch the best. This was the original one that I had. This one is a Main Chick. I remember Jay Kissa recommending this and I bought it based on that, and it is nice, but I never use it. Both of these are really similar. And especially with it looking so bold in the pan, it doesn't come up that bold. It comes up really nice and wearable, but like looking at it, you have to like remember that, and I have too much makeup to keep that all in the front and center of my brain. So it's time to say bye to these. I think that's all my products that come in 2s. Let's finish up the powder products. This next one is Kiss and Tell. It's a blush from Colourpop, and I think I have to say this is my favorite blush. Something about the color, it's just so nice. It's just so easy to wear, and the Colourpop blush formula is really nice and really easy to wear. I think you can tell it's swatching just like those last 2 did, so we're going to try to build it up a little bit. But that is definitely something I look for in blushes. I don't know, I know some brands will make formulas where they're like, you can use a light hand and, you know, build it up to the desired opacity, and if you're fair skin, you can use a lighter hand. If you're deeper skin, you could use a heavier hand, and I don't know, I understand that, but my perfect blush is something that doesn't take a lot of thinking, and I don't have to like purposely use a really light hand, fluff it out a lot, blend it a lot. Like I just want it to go on easily. And I find that these Colourpop blushes fit the bill perfectly. They go on so easy without thinking, and I think this one combined with the color, it's just like really, it's just really nice. It's just really nice, and it's my perfect blush, and I love it a lot. My next Colourpop blush product is from the Sugar Frosted Cheek Palette, and I love this so much. Other than the fact that like my packaging is kind of like broken and doesn't, oh, it sounded like it snapped shut, but it really didn't. I love this palette. It has a Super Shock highlighter that kind of like has like a red reflect to it. It's super interesting. And then it has these 3 blushes that I don't really think too hard about which one I'm going to use because they're all kind of like a similar vibe. And often I'll like swirl my brush between 2 or 3 of them. But I will give you 3 little individual swatches. Formula is so nice and so soft. I think one of them's supposed to be shimmery and then 2 are supposed to be matte. That's not coming up at all. That's not coming up at all. That one's coming up. I think this one's pretty similar to that KVD one. I don't know why this is just like the comparison for all of them, but it is for some reason. But this one's a little bit more browny than that one is. These two, I guess I'll build them up. The more shimmery one was first, and this is the more matte one. And I think, yeah, that makes sense with my feelings on how they work. This is pretty similar also to this Kiss and Tell, but I think this Kiss and Tell is a little bit bolder, but the sum of these two together is probably pretty similar to Kiss and Tell anyway. But I just really like it, and I feel like this is like, if you told me I could choose one cheek product, I don't know. I really like Kiss and Tell, but I feel like this one also has the highlighter and it's really nice. I don't know, this is definitely top of the list. Definitely top of the list. I think I'm gonna start swatching up into my hand. We're actually almost done, kind of surprisingly. I have this Hourglass cheek palette, Ambient Lighting Edit Mini. I got it at Holiday a couple years ago. It has this one blush here, and I just find that these powders just work really well on my skin. They blend themselves. This is kind of like my foolproof makeup that I'll go to if I'm like doing something where I want my makeup to look good in person. And it's such a nice color. Yeah, I think the Colourpop ones look like a little bit more like neutral. This one's a little bit more mauve, but not as intense as the KVD. I really like it. The only thing that's annoying is that because it's in this palette, I do have to make sure I'm like pinching my blush brush a bit to get it into that pan and only that pan. I have two liquid blushes that I really like a lot. I have this Rare Beauty one. It's the shade Hope. I do like this, but my only complaint is that it's super pigmented. And I know that was like word on the street when it came out, but I find it kind of like almost hard to use because it's so pigmented and I have to use such a small amount. Like you can tell that one little dot, and like this isn't the layer I would have on my cheek. Like on my cheek it would have to be like so much more sheared out than that. So it does kind of make it a little bit difficult to control because it has all that pigment, but it is like a really nice soft formula that my hair doesn't stick to, and it's a really pretty soft dusty pink color. I like it. Sometimes I do mix it in with this next one, which is the Natasha Denona Puff Paint. I want them to come out with more colors in this because right now they only have a pink one that looks just like too pink for my taste or my needs, and then they have a berry one that would be too intense for my skin. This one is in the shade Tan, and it's like a weird color. Like it's weird that it's so like tan and kind of orangey-ish, but I really like it. I love the formula. It has like a very like serum-y quality. It's so easy to wear. I do mix these two together at times, and I like that effect because they kind of have what each other needs. This one has like more of a normal lifelike color. This one has like a nice serum-y formula that blurs out the intensity of this. So it is nice to have them both together, but yeah, I really like the formula of the puff paint especially. I also have this Beach Please Magic Hour Tower 28 cream blush, and I don't like it. I don't like it, and I think this is one of the things that was making me feel like I didn't like cream blushes, and I realize now that I just don't like this product. It's definitely way more of like a balmy texture, and I can feel even just sticking my finger in that it's like, it has more like grip to it. Like I pull my finger out and it's like it's trying to, you know, like it's sticky. That's what I'm saying here. Like it's sticky. It's a really pretty color. It's like a little bit more pinky than the puff paint, more dusty than the Rare Beauty one. Like I see why people like it. I like the color of it, but for me and my life, it just feels inconvenient. I'm going to declutter it. And then the last cream products that I have is this e.l.f. Active Lip and Cheek Palette, which I bought on Hannah Louise Poston's recommendation. She still raves about it, even though it's discontinued, but it's so nice. It's so nice. It has this one kind of like highlighting balm, which I'm not going to swatch today, but I will swatch the other three. This I do forget about using, but I really like it. And I wore this first one, I think yesterday. I'll swatch it up here. They're gonna be bad swatches, but I'm gonna do it. So there's like more like terracotta one, more brown one, and a more like berry one. These also blend out really nicely, really easily. This one's, I think I made this comparison last time too, but I think this one's really similar to the Fenty one. Yeah, this one here. Pretty similar. This one's actually, I think this one has a little bit more red to it, but I still do really like these. I definitely need to use them more. Like, doesn't this feel quick? Like, I feel like I should have more blushes than this, but like, I'm happy that I don't. The only last thing to talk about is from Lunar Beauty. I have the Moon Prism blush, which I got at the end of 2020, and I used it in a video in like the start of 2021. I was so surprised by how pigmented it was, and I was like, you know, I just need to, you know, learn the learning curve and everything, but I find that I never use it. And I think it's for a combination of the reasons that we talked about today. One of them is that it's too pigmented, which just feels more of like a liability to me. It doesn't feel like easy and user-friendly. It's easy to mess up, pretty much. And then also because it's in this big palette that has to be stored kind of closer to my eyeshadow palettes than with my single individual blushes or like small quads of blush or whatever, I never think to use it. So for that reason, I think I need to pass it on, find it another home. Like, looking at it, I'm like, it's so pretty. Like, it actually is more pink than I thought it was, and I don't like it as much as I thought it would. So that's kind of nice. That reaffirms me, me passing it on. But like, I believe that these are nice, you know, like I believe that they're nice. The packaging is really nice. The color looks really nice. And if I was a different kind of person, if I had the patience, if I had the same patience for my blush that I do for my eyeshadow, I think that I would get on with this well, but it just doesn't suit the style of how I like to apply my blush. And for that reason, it's gotta go. So that's it. That's my entire blush collection. I guess I'm gonna do my highlighter collection next and a declutter of those, even though my highlighter collection is even smaller than my blush collection, but like, we don't have to have long videos. It could be an 8-minute video. I don't know. Or I could just talk a lot. We could do it on a chatty day. It could be a 20-minute video. I don't know. But I guess that's gonna come. So yeah, I hope this was entertaining to watch. I hope this helped if you wanted blush recommendations or something like that. Thank you so much for watching today. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you liked it. That would really mean a lot to me. And that's everything. Bye.